there was something that switched in my mind, and I was like, nope, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen for myself. Like a month ago, like I was in the runs for 2 different jobs. I was interviewing with these 2 companies at the same time, and I wasn't hearing back. And there was a lot of like just threading me along, unknown, ambiguousness. But even during all that time, I just kept applying to jobs. Like I wasn't waiting on them. Don't ever wait on them. Keep applying. And this job that I applied to was during that period of like me just deciding like, no, this is what I want for my life. I don't want to move back to Pennsylvania. Like my life is here now, and like I know I have more opportunity for myself here. And but you got to really want that. You want to, there's like points of me wanting to give up and go, okay, maybe I should pack up my whole apartment. I'm done with LA. I don't know, just perseverance, and also know when to take breaks. But also, once you're made up your mind on a certain thing, I feel like you can chug through those hard days because your mind is now stuck on like, no, like I'm determined to do this and I'm going to do it, like no matter what.
Today on The Flame, I'm joined by Victoria Krawiec, a multidisciplinary designer, fashion and beauty styling enthusiast, and sustainability marketing strategist. From visual presentation, graphic design, and running laser R&D for major denim brands, to working with companies like TDMI, Saytex, and Arbor, who place a high value on sustainability, Victoria has spent over a decade at the creative intersection of apparel, design, and innovation. But like many of us, she's been navigating the tough questions that come with a long job search. We'll talk about creativity, reinvention, and what it means to keep your flame alive when the path forward isn't clear. Let's get started. Hey, Victoria, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, or after work. You and I are chatting today because we were both added to an AI bot assisted chat group on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Right? Literally like on my birthday last year. And I guess it kind of targeted anyone who had like the green badge of doom, right? And everyone was a little like weirded out by it. But I don't know. I was able to make a few connections. I don't know about you, but one of them was you. So I'm grateful for that. But you and I had been laid off roughly around the same time. And so I had seen like a lot of your posts and was kind of following you throughout the past year. And I really felt like you did a good job of keeping yourself out there and relevant on LinkedIn, at least by like sharing posts. And, you did like images from your portfolio, but you also were like vulnerable and talking about your interests and your job search and like the issues that you've had doing that, especially with like recruiters and LinkedIn and all that kind of the same stuff that we've been I've heard people are going through, right?
Yeah.
And then you did a post not too long ago about the anniversary of your like 1-year anniversary of your job search coming up, and it just kind of hit me because mine I just passed in July rather. So it I was still feeling very unsure kind of where my career is going, but I'm super happy to hear that you have finally ended your unemployment journey, which is awesome. So I would love for you to share a bit about yourself and kind of fill us in on the good news, and then we can kind of get into some of the questions I have for you.
Okay, sure. Well, I'm mainly a visual designer, but it spans many different types of specialties. Like I started off studying textile design. It's a very niche type of design work in the fashion industry, and then once I found out what that type of work was, I found it like in real life. Like I actually did an internship in New York City. I don't know, I was still in my young 20s, and I felt like I didn't want to start the work life right away, like the 9 to 5, like, okay, this is life now. Like I was still kind of up in the air about what I wanted to do. And there were some years I went back home to Erie, Pennsylvania, which I'm from, and then I was this was right during the recession, and I was researching schools to go back to, and I always loved magazine spreads and, styling and like art directions. So I wanted to go more into that, and I found a program out here in Los Angeles at FIDM called Visual Communications. And I felt like with this add-on degree, it kind of like ran the gamut of like you could do many different things with it. You could get involved in styling, with set design, or with graphic design. So I like the variety of like where my career path could diverge to after that. And I I got heavily involved in the denim textile world here. And I was hired on as a marketing assistant because I pitched to them like your website needs a refresh and let's get on social media or let's start doing like email blasts. So they liked what I pitched to them, and I kind of took it upon myself to build out this role that wasn't even existing at this company. And I was like a graphic designer slash also doing like marketing manager. Like it was like very kind of a hybrid role, I feel, which kind of taps into my personality. Like I like being involved in a lot of different things. So I enjoyed it for a while, but then I was craving more creative work because it kind of plateaued and there was like only so much more I could go in that type of work. And I intentionally left that job after 6 years in 2019. And since then, I was doing freelance like graphic design or styling jobs. And then the pandemic came. And there was this new company, manufacturer starting up in LA. They're originally from Vietnam and they wanted to have a US factory based here in LA called Cytex. And Cytex is a manufacturer of denim apparel, and they were looking for a graphic designer. And it was a very niche type of graphic design that involved doing these designs for laser machines. Kind of like distressing on jeans. Like usually people would do it manually by hand, but instead these lasers would go in and like burn and etch the designs. So I was with them for about roughly 3 years, and I didn't like the way management was behaving at the company, so I intentionally left, and I took on a full-time role in a different industry, actually, the interior world. I was a showroom manager for this Italian commercial furniture company called Arper. They're based out of Treviso, Italy, and I was there for a little bit over a year, and then I was laid off back in August, and that's where I found myself today. I have another graphic design role that I just got hired on to do, and it's for a rug company based here in LA. And it's actually, they have an interesting history. They've been around since 1869. So it's a company that's been in business for a really long time. So we'll see where this goes.
So like it's kind of you kind of went away from design with the showroom stuff, right? It wasn't really much of a design role, and then you kind of come back to it. But it sounds like you've been into textiles for a while. You've got a good bit of experience with that, so you're kind of coming back to something and hopefully this is a good spot for you after only a couple weeks. I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
So what has been take me back throughout the past year. Like, what has been the hardest part for you of this, like, in between period? And has there been something that's like surprised you about yourself in the process? Like, I'm always interested to learn what keeps people going and how they adapt.
Yeah. Well, right off the bat, I don't know. I took like a week to grieve. To process my emotions.
Right.
Yeah. I was kind of just checked out and like I luckily I was house sitting that week and with an adorable cat that I love, so I got to like nurture myself with her love. So that was great.
Animals are the best.
And then I don't know, I found myself, I'll constantly go to the library still. Like, I'm a library aficionado. I love any places that you can go for free where you don't have to spend money. And like, library is still where it's at. And there's this beautiful library in West Hollywood, which is one of the most beautiful libraries I've ever been to. That has really scenic views of like the Hollywood Hills, and they have these really cool chairs you can just sit out on, and like it's just one of my happy spots here in LA. And I just happened to go up to the counter with the librarians, and I was like, "Hey, I just lost my job, and like I don't know what I should be doing now, or like I don't know, do you have like a book you could recommend?" And someone recommended "What Color's Your Parachute?" I forget the author, but I was like, okay. So I picked it up, and literally it was a page turner. Like I really loved what this guy was talking about, what he was dishing out. Like I ate it all up, and it was really inspiring. It inspired me to be more sure of myself and what I can offer, because in the past I feel like I've always been trying to tailor myself as to what an employer needs, like 100%. And he kind of flipped that on its head, and like kind of just build up my confidence in a different way, where I wasn't like super analyzing, like, oh, should I put this in my profile or should I not? Should I like it? I don't know. I just felt a lot more empowered to like be true to myself, and then I literally devoted like August and September. I really didn't apply to any jobs. I had some like a stipend, to live off of on top of unemployment. And I devoted myself to just rebuilding a website the way I wanted it, with all the content and material I wanted to include, and I worked really hard on it. Like literally that was my job for like 5 weeks, was like doing like my website. Because I wanted that to be my calling card. Like I wanted that to be the utmost expression of who I am, and also like I involved like projects I worked on and stuff like that. So am I veering off the question? I don't know.
No. That's amazing. Like that, you're talking about that confidence. I feel like that's something that's like the first thing that takes a huge hit when you lose a job, is your confidence and your feelings of self-worth and how you feel about yourself. And I just actually just finished reading a book called The Creative Habit. And one of the sections in that talks about, confidence can breed creativity. And it's a cycle, right? And then as you start, to get more into that creative groove, it can breed more confidence, not in a like a bragging showmanship type of way, but just in a way that like what you're doing, and you're confident in your abilities that you have. And it's kind of like it can be fleeting, right? For people in the creative industry, we're very like hard on ourselves when it comes to that kind of stuff. So that's cool that's you spent that time to work on. And then the other thing that you said about trying to fit yourself into the role, to be what someone else thinks that you should be, instead of just being who you are, so that you worked on that, which was really cool. So I guess like, that's
capitalize on your your strongest thing that you feel like you're the most proud of. Like that's what I wanted to 100% like build up inside me.
Did you have like set goals for yourself? I mean, obviously it's trying to find a job, but then it's trying to make sure you don't like lose those creative muscles, keeping that fresh, as you're not like, oh, I don't have a specific project at work that I have to work on and have to think about. Like, yes, you're getting your portfolio together, but also, was there any other thing you did to help yourself there?
Yeah. I invented like I'm inspired just myself in my own apartment with my own like products and stuff like that. And for some reason there was a lot of beauty roles always being offered to me. Not offered, but like thrown my way, like, hey, would you want to apply for this? Like through recruiters and stuff like that. But every time I'd apply, they'd go like, oh, I'm sorry, like you have no beauty work in your portfolio. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do some faux beauty work for my portfolio. So I did my own little photo shoot here. I like photographed some like perfume bottles that I had, did the lighting, plopped them into, Photoshop and Illustrator. I added typography, and I made like web banner ads and samples like that. And so I would just invent like projects like that to do. I'm also every fashion cycle, I'm a huge I go on Vogue.com and I love all the street style photographs that they do outside of fashion shows in all the big cities around the world. I just love seeing what everyone else is wearing all over the world. And that's like, I'll collect those photos and sometimes I'll do collages with them, maybe for fun, or maybe some of them I've like thrown them up on LinkedIn or whatever, just to show my layout skills and stuff like that. But it's actually product that I love looking at and I enjoy working with a lot. Like I'm very passionate about street style photography. So I kept busy with that. And then on top of that, like sometimes there was some sample projects that like through some interview processes I was doing, which turned out really well. And I used those on my website. I put them on my website and I got more outreach from putting those up there. So, you know,
you didn't shy away from those. I know a lot of designers are, you know, they kind of look down on those like projects for that you would have to do for an interview to get a job. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Well, depending on the breadth of how long it would take, like I'm sure if it was like really time, although the one project I did was really time intensive, but then I taught myself how to make GIFs, which I never knew how to do. So
cool.
I looked at it as like, well, even if this job doesn't work out, if I turn out something really cool with it, I can just use it in my portfolio. So I looked and it gave me something to do, like keep me busy with, you know,
Right.
like besides like what, like drowning myself in more LinkedIn searches or something. Like I had a certain routine I set up like every day, everyday routine I set up. I would wake up, I would do my yoga stretches and one of my favorite Moby songs, which is Memory Gospel. I would take a shower, I would eat breakfast, and then LinkedIn was like maybe 9 to 1 o'clock, then take a lunch break. And then it's only best to get on LinkedIn. I noticed postings go up like later in the day, like 4 or 5 p.m. There's like fresher ones. So mid-afternoon, I would take a break and like go take a walk at this park around this lake that is nearby my apartment. And then I would come back, do more LinkedIn, and then whatever, finish my day. But definitely building out some type of routine that you do. And taking breaks is important. Like, I don't think I can stress that enough. Like I like fell into the TikTok hole of like all these people complaining about being unemployed and blah, blah, blah. And like, there was this one girl like talking and I'm like, you need to, like, it's important to take breaks. I'm like, even if you have no money, like go pick a neighborhood that you've never been to before. Just go there and walk around. Like you need to shift your brain waves, like your energy, like you need to break it up. And like, yeah, so
it's easy to fall into that cycle of like burnout, right? And so it sounds like that's kind of what you're talking about. Like, I'm sure, you know, you typically think of, oh, I experience burnout like at work on the job because you're working a lot of hours or it's very stressful, but being laid off and having to constantly think about what you should be doing or am I doing the right thing, can cause, it's almost more stressful, right?
yeah,
And so,
yeah.
like,
And don't get me wrong, oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, don't get me wrong. I had days like that where I like literally like got up and did nothing all day. Like I couldn't even look at LinkedIn because I was just like so over it. I was like, well, if I'm looking at this and I have like no desire to like do this today, that signals to me I'm burned out. Like I need a break day today, I guess. Like I can't do it today. Come back fresh tomorrow, hopefully.
Right.
So,
but it sounds like you're the type of person that's very good at going with the flow or knowing when to, like, you need a rest versus changing direction entirely, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's what I think what was one of your questions earlier was about like, oh, I forget. I don't remember. Never mind.
No, I had asked about like, you know, what you kind of learned about yourself in the time frame that you were off, or how you kept those creative.
Oh, this is one thing I learned within the past 2 months. Is it's easy to, I mean, like, no offense to parents or family, like their advice that they give you and what they're trying to offer you of what to do is like, take it with a grain of salt and like just trust yourself. There's certain things like, I know they mean well and it's coming from their heart. Like I get that, but like literally take it as a grain of salt. Like a lot of people had a very give up attitude. Like, oh, like, why don't you just move back? Or like, why don't you just, like, they wanted me to, because they could see I'm stressed out and I'm like stressed, and like, I think that came from a caring, loving thing. But like, there was something that switched in my mind and I was like, nope, this is what I want to do. And I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen for myself. Like a month ago, like I was in the runs for 2 different jobs. I was interviewing with these 2 companies at the same time, and I wasn't hearing back. Like after 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and there was a lot of like just threading me along. Oh well, this person's on vacation. Da-da. There was a lot of unknown, ambiguousness. But even during all that time, I just kept applying to jobs. Like I wasn't waiting on them. Like don't ever wait on them. Like keep applying. And this job that I applied to was during that period of like me just deciding like, no, this is what I want for my life. I don't want to move back to Pennsylvania. Like my life is here now. And like, I know I have more opportunity for myself here. And but you got to really want that. You want to, there was like points of me wanting to give up and go, okay, maybe I should pack up my whole apartment. I'm done with LA, all of that. But, I don't know, just perseverance and also know when to take breaks. But also once you're made up your mind on a certain thing, I feel like you can chug through those hard days because your mind is now stuck on like, no, like I'm determined to do this and I'm going to do it.
Right.
Like no matter what.
Yeah. There's, my son and myself and my wife all take, MMA lessons, kickboxing lessons. And one of the big lessons that our sensei talks to us about is, and he's got it like emblazoned up on the walls, is non-quitting spirit, right? That's the whole thing. You can never you can't show up one time and become a black belt. You have to consistently show up day after day, class after class, even when you don't want to show up and do it. If you're scared or if you're upset, show up and do it with whatever feelings you're feeling, but just do it. And eventually you will see that progress. And that's kind of what equals success, really. So it sounds like you just had that mindset that you knew what you wanted. You didn't know really how you were going to get there, but you made it happen. And that is success.
I persevered.
Right? Yes. You have a lot of perseverance. So like, has that changed like that definition of success? Because you persevered, you got through, you got a job, which is amazing. Like to me that, maybe it's not your be all end all dream job, but you landed somewhere. And that is, to me, is a successful story. So like, has that, your idea of success changed in the past year? Or do you think you just you had a focus and you knew what you wanted?
Like success with life or in career or?
Well, that's a great question because how intertwined the two. People tend to entwine the two, right? Like people have put their identity so connected to their career, and it's like success equals my title or how much money I can make or me landing my dream job, when really it's like, no, it's very, your career is one thing, but success in life is something different. So,
Yeah, I was very much defining myself and my job were very much intertwined, like in my 20s, my early 30s. And I had the hard lesson of like learning slowly, like how to detach yourself from connecting your self-worth to your job. And now I feel like I have a more clear grasp on like who I am and what I essentially want in life. I was willing to leave SciTex, even though it was graphic design work, but I was just really unhappy with the people there. Like, it was very stressful. And I went into like a showroom manager role, and I knew it wasn't gonna like fulfill me creatively. I knew it was like, so I started doing more art on the side. I started doing these oil pastels that I like to do. That was gonna be my fulfillment. And also, I've also had entrepreneurial things in my mind like my whole life. And like right now I'm just looking as a job to like just sustain my necessities. But like outside of work, I definitely am going to be working more full on with some entrepreneurial thing, be that artwork or something else. Like I'm also involved. I like doing t-shirt designs. So, but right now I'm actually the last projects I've been working on at my new job, I've been enjoying a lot, but I have a lot more like, this is them, this is what they want. Like, I don't care. Like, not, like my heart and soul isn't as much into it as like I used to put my heart and soul into work in the past. So but that comes with learning. I don't think, yeah, that comes with life experience. Like, it's not an easy thing to tell someone that, like, right when they're starting off. Like, I don't know. I think you just got to live and learn.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So the job that you have now, you said it's in the textile business?
It's a rug company. Rugs.
Rug company. Okay.
Yes. They're popular. They're sold on like Costco and Amazon. I don't want to give out the company name.
No, you don't have to. No, it's okay. Just
okay. But yeah, it's rugs, and I'm doing like right now I'm designing like banner ads for like their Amazon store. That's what I'm working on, and I'm playing around with a lot of typography and font and layout, and I kind of have free range, like, which is a dream. Like I pumped out something and they were like, yeah, I love it, upload it. There was like no like feedback or call outs or like, do this or we want more. Like there was like nothing. So and also like one of my key influences during the pandemic was I love the New York Times, and I love this one magazine that goes into it by the style section. It's called Teen Magazine. But their layouts lately have been really cool, really different, and the typography and the font play. It's like, and I want to bring that to online, like an online presence, because I feel there's not enough play on like websites and web pages and e-commerce. There's not enough play with colors or typography or layout. Like, I think there could be a lot more interest on those pages, more done there. So
yeah, it does seem like, after a while you see kind of the same things and trends kind of taking over in digital. And I guess it's because it's not really about the art, it's about the conversion, right?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I don't, maybe, this job that you're at now is more about, has a little bit more artistic freedom, and it's not so much about how many likes or clicks you can get.
Well, they want to elevate their look, their presence. So it's like, and I understand why they loved my portfolio so much, because like I do have like a little bit of an elevated look that I think they're looking for to add, in like minimal ways. We also talked about, doing a logo redesign. So that would be exciting to get to work.
Cool. I've seen you post a lot about like environmental and create, like purposeful creativity. Like, do you feel like where you're at now, you're able to, connect some of that? I don't know. I mean, I don't know really anything about textiles or, the rug business. And so I don't know if like AI has gotten its claws into that yet, but, tell me about that.
They actually want me to start working on some social media for them. So I have a meeting with the head of operations tomorrow about that.
Okay.
But at my current company, I don't know, they put something on their website that they want to be like carbon free by 2040 or something like that. So, but I haven't like delved much into like how that's going to be achieved or anything like that. But it got me to thinking like, because I'm always thinking of end of life. Like when a rug's done, like I think people just throw them away and they end up in the landfill. So I don't know, maybe once I get more entrenched with the company, I could start proposing like, have you ever thought about like these rugs, or like could they be recycled in some way, or like or could they be break down in the environment naturally, like if they're gone to a dumpster or something like that, which, being in California, being in LA, like I think people are a lot more actually open-minded to hearing about stuff like that. So there could be some avenues when I'm more deeper in in the side of things. Those
Right.
things.
More established, and you feel like you can make
yeah,
those kind
to
of
broach the
suggestions.
topic. Yeah.
Right.
Because I made the mistake of like coming in before the companies and dishing out all these new ideas like right off the bat, and then like everyone hating on me, and like like I'm like I learned my lesson. So like you
I
gotta be
love it when I would hire somebody and they would, and I would always tell them like, we have a kind of our way of doing things, but I don't want you to come in and just assimilate. Like, use your brain. You're a designer. You're a problem solver. Like, if you come in and you look at the way we do something and you're like, why the hell are they doing it that way? Like, talk to me and be like, hey, I think we can do this better. I always like,
that's great.
I was always open to that with my designers.
That's good. That's I feel like that environment's few and far between to find. But you're lucky if you do fall into that.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
And I feel like these people are very malleable. So, I may found a little bit of that right now. So that's great.
Yeah. So you're a Northwestern PA girl who settled in LA, and it seems like you're really connected to the city. I know people have moved. I have friends that live out there or have lived out there, and there's just so much creativity comes out of that area of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so especially for somebody who's a designer, who's a creative, like how has being in LA kind of shaped your view in your creativeness?
Yeah, it's shaped me a lot. And like I actually find I'm more creative when I'm spending long stretch of like something mundane in life. Like when I first moved out here, I used to take the bus and the trains, which is like so unheard of. Like no one could fathom like I got around in public transportation here. And I did for 10 years. Just sitting on the bus, but like your mind could wander and like go other places. I didn't have to be focused on driving and like, and like I was listening to music. Yeah, exactly. And I'm like a naturally curious person, and LA is so big and expansive. Like you're discovering new things every day, like new neighborhoods, new swaths of like communities you had no idea that existed. It's like it goes on and on and on here. And now that I have a car, like now, like my whole world is like even more expanding, and like I'm discovering new things all the time. And
right, like also bad the traffic can get on the 405, right?
Luckily I never take that highway. I never really have to take it to go anywhere. I'm a 110-10 girl. Like those are my highways. And I love them. They're like I feel the most comfortable on them. Like they're the best.
Is it super competitive out there too? Like I can imagine it being like super chill, relaxed. Yeah, but then also like New York competitive.
If anything, in the fashion industry, in the fashion world, it's very much like, I think you have to have a certain vibe or image. Like, even if like you may not be 100% skilled for that role, but if you've like a certain, like, I don't know, like this type of fashion girl out here, like if you like click with them, I feel like they give you a chance. But otherwise, if you don't like fit that, like I don't know, it's really hard. That's why I kind of veered off into other industries, and I landed in textiles. I started in textiles, but I never got to work at like a fashion company and like do like styling or any of that. Like I never got to do any of that because it's kind of very kind of image vibey. Like I feel like that's incorporated into like these girls that hire at these companies. So. They're excited actually at some companies when they find out you are from the East Coast, because typically we have a great work ethic. Like we want to get our work done, and like we plan better, and we're a lot more determined, which I find is like a great asset that I can have and offer people here. And also just being here, I've been exposed to so many different cultures. Like, so there's like, like I've embraced like the Mexican community here, the Korean community here, the Salvadorian. A lot of my friends are like from all over the like different parts of the world. Like and I love that. I love learning about different cultures, trying different foods, um, learning about, different ways people do things. And I'm very much enmeshed in the city. Like I'm not living out I'm not in the valley. I'm not in Santa Monica. Like I'm like in the city. Like I live amongst like the real people of LA, which they don't like to show like
Right.
in Hollywood. Like they're always showing some like whitewash, like Beverly Hills, Hollywood, like that's what LA. It's like no, it's not. It's like that's like a little sliver of what LA is. Like, LA is like so many immigrants communities coming together here. Like that makes up like 95% of what LA is.
And people don't see that.
And people don't see that, and it's a shame. Sad. I actually have a friend. He's Mexican. Just now this year they're having a Mexican film festival here, and it's like, what? Like this is a place for Hollywood, but Hollywood is like just so like whitewashed that I'm like, why aren't there more minorities that live in Hollywood, like being in the films and the movies and stuff? And it's like, it's so crazy how they're still so typecasted. They're still not like given opportunity, and it's like, but they're born and raised here, like in the home of Hollywood. I'm like, slowly it's changing. So I think that's great. Like, but there needs to be more representation for sure.
Right. Well, and it's crazy that you would say that, because you think like, Hollywood is this kind of like, very liberal, open place. And,
exactly.
it's really still kind of an executive or exclusive club. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully it's on its way to changing, because I don't think you can be creative or a creative person if you haven't had experiences with, travel or other cultures or other people.
Yeah.
Like how could you possibly, as a designer who now like everything is global, right? Social media and everything is like, how can you possibly be able to speak to a certain group of people or multiple groups of people without having had some type of experience or connection with that?
Yeah. And also the ocean. The ocean is one of my biggest inspirations. I love the ocean. Yeah.
So many songs, I've heard about people talking about being on the beach or whatever. Anybody, any band from California, it's always, they're always talking about, the beach and stuff.
I did a great drive up Big Sur, like back in 2016 by myself. I drove all the way up to Caramel, and that was one of the most beautiful, like life-changing experiences. Like the coastline here, like on the PCH, is like breathtakingly like I almost like veered off the side of the cliff several times, because I just was like gobsmacked at like what I was seeing as I turned a corner. Like it was crazy.
I can't imagine. I've never been. No, I've been to LA once. I was in and out of the airport and like at the hotel, because the company I was working for at the time was hiring. They want an account out there, and they were having a job fair. And so I went out to interview people and stuff. And so, I got to experience being in and out of LAX and having really good Mexican food. And I guess it was, Thousand Oaks area is like Reseda, close to there. Not Reseda. What's the place? Where was Karate Kid?
I don't know.
And,
Beverly Hills?
No, he was in, I forget the place where
that Thousand Oaks, that's kind of Valley-esque, I think, like kind of suburb area. Yeah.
But so I didn't get to experience I say that because I would have loved to have been able to have time to get out to the beach and experience that. But the closest thing I've seen to that is probably like Rhode Island on the East Coast, because there's, or Maine. I was in Maine last summer, and there was like a 2-mile long walking trail along the coast. It's just, it's incredible. You can get so much inspiration from that.
Yes. Yeah. And it's just mind clearing. It's my therapy. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So I had seen that you had once tried, I guess you told me this, right, when we chatted, that you tried stand-up comedy once.
Yes.
And that sounds to me like the most terrifying thing. Like being laid off for a year is easy compared to stepping on stage to try to do some stand-up comedy. And so like, what made you want to do that? Like, I'm like, how does anybody want to do that? Like, And what made you want to give that a shot?
Well, I've always been funny. My whole family has a great sense of humor. I'm very sarcastic, very witty, and like quick with it. And it actually came out after a breakup. I broke up with someone back in 2013, and he was a really funny guy, and I was like having a hard time getting over him because like I loved us being funny together. And my one friend on a whim got me like some Groupon for like some like stand-up comedy therapy coach class or something like that. And I'm like, all right, like I'll try it. And I did, and I really loved the teacher. He was really funny and really great, but he also incorporated like therapy into his classes because a lot of like what comedy does is trying to cope with like a lot of hard things in life, I feel. So they're like interconnected. So I found that class really great, and I took his class for like 5 or 6 years. I was like doing shows. I got to perform at the Comedy Store on the Sunset Strip, in the Belly Room several times. And I was like getting in a good rhythm of things. And then COVID happened, and that momentum kind of stagnated, fell off. The last couple of years, I've been trying to get back into it. I mean, to get over stage fright or whatever, it's like sometimes I go in with the mentality of like, as long as I'm having fun, I don't really care if someone's laughing or not. Like that's a mindset I go up and have. Because like so many guys, no offense, okay, so many guys are like very butthurt. They're very ego soft, like, oh man, they'll be up there and they'll hate on the crowd for not laughing at their jokes, and it's like, don't do that. Like, they just didn't think it was funny, or maybe they didn't understand it, or like, you know, like whatever. Like, but once you start being bitter and angry, like while you're up there at the crowd, like that's not cool. So even if you're going up there and maybe you're not as confident or you're not as prepared, as long as you make sure you have fun, that's all that matters.
Right. That's such a great way to look at it. Like, I don't think I would ever think a comedian would think that way. But also I feel like comedians are some of the most creative people because they're so observant.
Yes.
Right? And as a creative person, you have to be tremendously observant of, you know, trends or, you know, anything out there. And sometimes the comedians, the funniest ones are the ones that just point out the mundane absurdity of life and can just connect the dots. And you're like, wow, yes, you're right. That's really funny.
Yeah.
And it's so simple.
Yeah. I actually observed something the other day in my new office environment.
There you go. You got material.
I have material.
You got to write it down.
Already. Yeah. Yeah. I think because I've also had entrepreneurial ideas of is like I want to fuse like fashion and comedy in some cool way, like through performance or like, you know, I once, you know, I had this idea to design these jeans and I wanted to call them like smart ass jeans, and like I was doing these cool laser prints on denim, and I wanted to like handwrite some of my jokes out and do these prints on jeans, and then I wanted to like give them the like stand-up comedians to wear, you know, and like maybe kick off my denim business from that. So like, yeah, like I love intertwining different things and coming up with new ideas and stuff.
And those jeans aren't for Sydney Sweeney, right?
No.
I'm proud to say I haven't seen the ad. I won't watch it.
I don't like the way she talks, but anyway, I make a lot cooler jeans than that. The one jean that's on my portfolio right now, or it's on my website. I did like a water print with laser, and it came out really beautiful.
That's really cool.
And
I love the idea, though. I think that's a cool idea. How can you make that happen?
What, smart ass jeans?
Yeah, how can you make that happen?
I know there's so many levers involved, and then like it costs a lot of money, and maybe someday
you got to pull some strings, right? Call in some favors.
I'm getting my bearings right now, so
yeah,
maybe someday.
So, what has, I guess, to kind of wrap it up, but this conversation has been amazing, and I'm so happy to hear your story, and just can tell that you're an extremely creative person, just having the conversation with you. But I just want to kind of leave with I know we've sprinkled in a little bit of advice throughout, but is there kind of like a teaching point that you could give to another creative who's been out of work for a while and is starting to doubt either their value or their creativity? Like what can be the takeaway for you on this?
You need to find something outside of your career, be it a hobby or like a craft or something. And you need to pepper some of that in, because even if your job search is ending up like, wow, like this sucks and you're not getting responses or whatever. But if you have this one like little project or like side hobby that you're really good at and you like really enjoy doing, and you do it like once or twice a week or something, like that keeps your confidence up. Like, hey, at least like if you go a week and you don't get any interviews, you don't get any calls or whatever, but like, yo, I finished this painting or I finished like this puzzle. Like you gotta find little avenues where you can have small wins outside of like career or, that. Like you gotta find like confidence in other things, like joy or feeling accomplished in other things. Yeah.
It's so true. I did that myself. I just started a checklist and tried to check off as many things as I could and give myself little projects. And I'm, now I'm like, oh, I've organized my garage, so I want to start building things out of wood now, like something that I can do with my hands and not having to stare at a screen. So I agree with that advice wholeheartedly. So it's been really great to talk to you. This has been a really fun conversation, and I really appreciate you taking the time after work when you could be taking a walk or,
I'm gonna do that right now, actually.
Doing whatever, catch the sunset. Are you close enough? You're not close enough to get to the ocean, right? Because you're in town.
Depending on the day, like if I get on the 110 of the 10, it's like 30 minutes away. So
might be worth it.
Yeah. No, I go to Venice often. Venice Beach is my beach. There's the most crazy cultured things happening, but also the most inspiring. And I've been doing some great colored pencil drawings of palm trees there. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I look forward to you posting those drawings and your next set list on in your stand-up.
Yeah, thanks.
But
no, is that I don't think that's a place for LinkedIn though. You can find me on my Instagram at Goofy Buttes. GOOFYBEAUTE. There's some comedy bits on there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna hit that up and I'll share the link out with the podcast. So maybe cool. Get some followers out of it. But
thanks.
Cool. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
Thanks, Victoria.
Bob. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks to Victoria Krawiec for being a guest on today's show, and thank you for joining me on the Flame Podcast. There's definitely more to come. Please take a moment to follow, subscribe, or hit the like button if you haven't done so already. And if you have any feedback or would like to be a guest on the show, send me a message at talk@theflamepod.com. I would love to hear from you.